Hello everyone and welcome to my first review. Like the last video I said, this review will be on hip hop, and I'm starting off with one of the best hip hop albums and one of the greatest albums of all time, which is the Enter the Wu-Tang Clan 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang Clan, which came out in 1993. This debut is so important to hip hop because it really set the blueprint up for the lyrical hardcore East Coast hip hop moving forward. So the underground raw production, which gave off this grimy sample driven rap, which was effectively down to RZA. He was the mastermind behind the whole entire production for all the tracks on this album. So back in 1993, the hip hop scene was quite diverse. We had the West Coast with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre pushing out this G-Funk era into hip hop. We also had Black Moon and Lord of the Underground and company that were pushing out the gritty hardcore boom bap into the hip hop scene. And we also had Tribe Called Quest with CL Smooth and Pete Rock, who were pushing out the jazz rap of the hip hop scene as well. And then we had Wu-Tang Clan. In 1993, they came out as 9 MCs, which was never seen before. So nobody was doing it like this back then. Wu-Tang Clan were really pushing the scene. They brought out this style where each track kind of went back to back with different MCs in the group. Like they were passing the mic around to each other in the booth, trying to out lyrically perform the other artist. Each one getting hungry onto the mic with all their different styles. This rotating MC energy matters because it felt like each of the member is trying to lead forward. They're trying to outperform the other. They're trying to be more enthusiastic than the other when they're coming onto the mic, trying to drop their best game. The rawness of the album gives off this impression that there's this lyrical rap battle going on. So they're running through the whole project. Side-eyed disses, the flash of violence, the wild wordplay, and the quotables, with the swords and the style, the Shaolin imagery slicing through the verses. So it's these kung fu references, the Shaolin and the swords and the wordplay that really bring a life to this album, give it its own edge, where it feels like we're going through a whole 60s movie, a kung fu movie with the Wu-Tang Clan, and they're all performing, battling or training with each other to beat the opponents in this dojo. So it's these skits and samplings from these old martial arts movies that give it this feel. Now, like I said earlier, Wu-Tang Clan have 9 members, and in other bands or other groups, these 9 members might merge together. They might all sound similar. They might sound like they get blurred together as one, but no. In Wu-Tang Clan, what makes them so special is how unique each other MC in the group is. They all have their own style, their own voice, their own delivery. The way that they manage to have all these different styles, put them together and make it work is what makes it so special. Going through all 9 New York artists. So we'll start off with RZA. RZA's the mastermind behind this whole record. He is arguably the most important in this group for this album. Not because he just raps, but because he produces the whole album back to front. And it's one of the most distinct and recognizable hip-hop sounds that he has managed to produce over the years. RZA's sound here is dark, it's dirty, it's this off-kilter and slightly minimalistic sound, but with so much character behind it. So he took these ideas that other artists were doing at the time, this gritty, dark sounds, but he was making them darker, more gritty. He was making them more atmospheric. So what makes RZA such a recognizable MC is his hunger and aggression in his delivery. On the album, he provides with some of the most memorable verses, like the verse on Tearz, for example. And then you have GZA. GZA is the most lyrical advanced MC in Wu-Tang. Even after this debut, when everyone improved their lyrical game, GZA's was most recognizably the best and most intelligent running verses out of the group with his rhymes. He has attention to detail, tight imagery, layered metaphors, and he almost never gives a disappointing verse. And vocally, he's intense and serious, and he's not as flashy as someone like Ghostface Killah or Raekwon, but he carries authority. And on this album, I'd rank him maybe second or third in terms of performance out of the whole Wu-Tang Clan. Ghostface Killah is my favourite rapper out of the lot. His top tier delivery and emotion, excitement, humour, pain. He can do hype joints, street narratives, his gut level storytelling, which hits similar to Tupac's with how he's truly saying what he means in the songs. His tone is electric, his flow is golden, and his conceit is impeccable. He's been consistent now for like 3 decades. Then you have Raekwon. Raekwon, Ghostface Killah's natural tag team member and one of the greatest sentence assemblers in rap. Raekwon's street stories are cinematic. His internal structure is tight without being forced. He has one of the best flows in the clan. It's smooth but weighty. His punchlines cut clean. His voice is slightly bit more monotone than Ghostface's, but it always delivers and it's always locked in. You can see in this debut the early stages of Raekwon and Ghostface Killah's chemistry with each other, which will later be developed moving forward on some of the solo records. You then have Method Man. Method Man is probably the breakout star of the group. This is purely on the fact that he has a whole song called Method Man. What's cool about Method Man is that he manages to flip some Dr. Seuss style rhyme canvas into something hard, and then he'll slide into some grimy street storytelling in the next breath. Another thing about Method Man is that Method Man, similar to Redman, who has a style that is 100% not replicable. It's impossible to duplicate. Then you have Old Dirty Bastard. ODB is a wild card of the group. He is definitely the wildest, most chaotic, and definitely the most unique artist out of the 9 MCs in the group. It's his chaotic flows, his insane delivery that really is like a cherry on the cake with the group. ODB will do whatever he wants. If that is sing off beat, yell, scream, whatever, he will do it. He's definitely the least traditional lyrical member of the group, if you're tallying technical ability, but one of the most distinctive styles in rap history ever. Something that Method Man had said in the past was that there is no father to his style. And 3 decades later, this is still true. There's no one that's even recreated ODB's crazy, awesome style in his hip hop. Then you have Inspector Deck. Inspector Deck is well known for being a verse bully. He comes in and he'll just steal the verse. He's so consistent in delivering an incredible verse that it's very hard to find in his discography a bad verse. It's his breath control, his vocabulary, his multi-syllabic quotables, all sharp. And in flow-wise, he might be the best in the clan. He's managed to go from fast to slow tempos, and he's incredibly crisp whilst doing it. Then you have Master Killer. Master Killer is a silent assassin. He didn't really appear a lot on the Wu-Tang Clan's debut, but when he did, he left everyone speechless. And he's actually one of the late artists to join Wu-Tang in 1993. He only managed to get one verse, which managed to lock him into the group from when RZA recorded it. His style is very simple, but it's deceptively clever. Then you have U-God. U-God is usually considered maybe one of the weaker artists in the group, purely because his technical ability isn't up there compared to rappers like GZA in the group. Kind of only appears now and then on the album, but his fresh flows and his rugged presence more than keep up for it. Then we start off with the intro track. The intro track is Brinda Ruckus, and it comes with the most classic, one of the most iconic samples ever in hip hop, which is the Shaolin Shadowboxing movie sample clip, which is instantly recognizable, and it drops you into this grimy kung fu cinematic meets Staten Island space. RZA then lunges in with an aggressive hook, and then Ghostface Killah quickly sweeps in and kills it in the verse, and it kind of just shows what you're coming into in this album. You come into this album realizing that these guys are not messing around. They're going to come out with the best performances of their career. So Raekwon then follows with a similar aggression, but it's still distinct to the other MCs. GZA and Inspector Deck then come in with their expected wordplay and clever rhyme webs. In terms of pure technical rap, those two are just monsters and have built a reputation of being some of the best lyricists of all time. You have the second song. This song is the first formal introduction of ODB and Method Man to the album's front line. And honestly, this plays more like an ODB record featuring Method Man than a straight Wu posed cut. The reason why ODB handles the hook and drops the two phenomenal verses that really build his presence in hip hop moving forward. The horns and the piano stabs give the beat this twisted funhouse fanfare. It brings bangs, but it also grinds on you. And Method Man slices in with a super entertaining bounce that makes you smile every single time. You have Clan in the front, and this is the first solo MC song, which is all production is very simple piano loop, tough drum standards that give this addictive feel to the record. GZA sounds like he's at home. He feels like he's locked in. He is calm, and he's just releasing these insane wordplays. And one of the most notable wordplays off this record, off this track, is some of these baseball metaphors. Them is, I'm on the Mount G, and it's a no-hitter, and my DJ, the catcher, he's my man. Anyway, he's the one who devised the plan. He throws the signs, I hook up the beats with clout, I throw the rhymes to the mic, and I go and strike them out. This is a classic demonstration of why GZA is the smartest pen game in the clan. Then you have the Wu-Tang 7th Chamber. This starts off with the iconic Is he dead skip, and then it goes straight into these 7 MCs that are quick firing 30-second verses on the track, each member injecting this different sound, a different style, and the whole thing just sounds so refreshing, never losing its pace, always sounding refreshing. Inspector Deck probably takes the MVP here. After the intermission, you have the Mystery of Chessboxin. This is probably my favorite track off this album, and it is definitely the track where you feel like each individual artist is really fighting to show they are the best in the group. Each artist comes with an incredible verse, back to back to back. Arguably one of the best Wu-Tang songs to ever exist. The production first. RZA flips the Otis Redding's and Carla Thomas's Tramp, which is so genius. The groove knocks are ridiculously hard. Then You Got opens with 8 career-defining bars. Deck follows up with his metaphor maze. Then Raekwon slides in with his lethal flow. So ODB then comes in with his wild style, and he drops one of the most iconic, unforgettable moments on the whole record. He's introducing the Ghostface Killer. So Ghostface Killer then comes in and he answers with his explosive energy. This is definitely one of the best songs off the record. You can really feel that these artists, these MCs are in the dojo, training with each other, practicing, getting ready for a battle, and they're just going at each other. It is awesome. I mean, this whole record is just phenomenal. Each song, there's no skip. Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With has one of the nastiest, darkest beats with its dry bass, its dry drums, and its raw attitude. RZA then lights it up with some high voltage verses packed up with energy and pop culture shards. Then you have C.R.E.A.M. C.R.E.A.M stands for Cash Rules Everything Around Me, which you find out on the track. It's definitely the most iconic song off the album. The subject and matter is the hardship of the Shaolin life. It's survival, the grind to get this cash. Method Man delivers what might be one of the most quotable hooks in hip-hop history. Inspector Deck then follows with one of the best verses on the album. Raw, real, tightly written. Lines like, but I'm still depressed, and I ask, was it worth? Ready to give up, so I seek the old earth. Punches the gut level honesty of the song and what he's trying to say. Second solo track on this album is the Method Man track, and it's probably what made Method Man the most well known, because there's a whole track for him. The way that this track came around was that Method Man won an internal freestyle competition between the C.R.E.A.M members for the slot for this song. It opens up with this torture method skits between Method Man and Raekwon. It's hilarious, it's gruesome. Then it slides into this jizza-led roll call. Then comes the iconic chant of the track. The rhyme seems simple, but yet packed with this little percussive detail that makes it both aggressive and funky. Method Man, throughout the whole track here, gives the full bag of what he has to offer. His personality, his charisma, his cartoon rhyme flips, his grimy punchline, and sing-rap cadences. Then coming up to the last three tracks of the album, Protect Your Neck and Tearz, and part 2 of Seventh Chamber. Protect Your Neck is very similar to the Mystery of Chessboxing, because it feels high energy, packed songs with just killer performances from every MC on the track. Again, filled with lyrical technicality from all the MCs, trying to put up the best performance, trying to outperform the other artists that came on before them. It is just pure cinema. But Tearz is probably the most creative concept cut of the album. RZA and Ghostface Killah trade off these two tragic stories in the streets of these two young friends of theirs, that one died in a shooting and the other one refused to wear contraception and contracted HIV and only had 2 more years left to live. The title idea comes from the sample hook that was sampled from Wendy Renee's After Laughter Comes Tears, which works perfectly with the setting of this track because it flips the joy into instant grief. The beat helps complement the track by giving up this upbeat, melancholic feel, which kind of helps build this emotional depth throughout the track. So then you have Seventh Chamber Part 2, which is just a remix of Seventh Chamber. It comes up with a new rhythm and it bangs just as much as the Seventh Chamber. Overall, this album is one of the greatest albums in hip-hop, and one of the greatest albums of all time across all genres. And what's even more impressive is that these artists didn't even hit their prime at this point. They all went off to do their own solo records and hit their prime in their solo records, which are just phenomenal as well. And when you're talking about, where does this album stack to with lyrical ability, it's up there with Illmatic, Mad Villainy, Stress the Extinction Agenda, Soul on Ice. It was no doubt that in 1993, these were the hungriest rookies on the stage. What makes this album so good is because there's 9 MCs, all with their own different contrasting styles that shouldn't work together, but yet they make it work perfectly with each other into this awesome old school kung fu movie style album, and with these unbelievably awesome lyrical performances that feel like you're getting to see the Shaolin shadowboxing just take place. Production itself, RZA just killed it. It's one of the greatest production performances in hip-hop. It is just beat after beat that just doesn't miss. Sample flips, the hard bass, the mutant bass lines, dusty loops, the cold-blooded atmosphere that RZA brings to the table on this record is just second to none. RZA keeps everything cohesive, even when the mood shifts throughout the record, like on songs like Tearz. So it just shows his versatility throughout the record. Overall, this album is phenomenal. It is a must listen to anyone that likes hip hop. You will not be disappointed. There's no bad track on here. Here are my track ratings. Here, my favorite tracks here are The Mystery of Chessboxing, Protect Your Neck, and C.R.E.A.M. And the final rating is a 9.8. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I will improve my reviewing technique because this is only my first video. So yeah, I'll see you at the next one.